I'm so broke, I didn't even buy the Switch 2 with the Mario Kart World bundle. Yes, I bought Mario Kart World at $80. Yes, I bought the digital version of the game. Do I regret it? Nope. Okay, maybe a little, but we can all agree that paying $80 for any game is crazy, and I don't think I want to do that again. The last time we got a new Mario Kart was Mario Kart 8, not Deluxe, on the Wii U in 2014, 11 years ago. Holy. I was only 12 years old when that game came out, and I remember playing Mario Kart Double Dash a lot on the GameCube, Mario Kart Wii on the Wii, and I did play Mario Kart 7 on 3DS, I just don't remember anything really. And I played Mario Kart Deluxe on the Switch, even with the DLCs at least one time through, and so I may not be the most decorated Mario Kart player, but I think considering that Double Dash came out when I was 1 year old, I think my resume is decent, well, at least for me. And I think a lot of people played Mario Kart World before playing Sonic Racing Cross Worlds this year. I actually played Sonic Racing before this game, and I can straight up tell you, I got more out of Sonic Racing Cross Worlds than I did with Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World isn't a bad game, but if you're thinking about buying a Switch 2 and getting Mario Kart, please do not make the same mistake that I did and buy them separately. Get the bundle that essentially makes it $50, because for a party racing game, $50 is actually pretty good. So what makes Mario Kart World special from other racing games, and just different even within the franchise itself? Mario Kart Double Dash had like the dual character thing, Mario Kart Wii had the bikes, Mario Kart 8 had anti-gravity thing, and Mario Kart World is, well, it's an open world game. There's a new mode called Free Roam that allows you to explore the entire world in any way and direction you want. There's challenges you can do, medallions to collect, question mark panels to drive over, I guess. But the main thing is that all the courses in the game, you can travel to each of them seamlessly through the free roam. You want to go to Peach Stadium to Boo Cinema? Yes, you can. You want to go from Mario Circuit to DK Summit? Yes, you can. Can you go from DK Summit to DK Spaceport? Yes, you can. You can go anywhere, well, except for Rainbow Road, but that's the gimmick. And it is a bit better than Mario Kart 8's anti-gravity gimmick, I would say, because with the anti-grav thing, it feels like you're doing a normal race, and the anti-grav sections never really felt anything like special, I would say. This open world gimmick does have some meat on its bone, and free roam mode, I mean, it isn't all that crazy, but I think it's a decent side mode for those that want to relax and just drive. I don't expect anyone to be thinking that this is a primary mode of feature of the game, and if you're going in expecting that it is a primary new mode of the game, well, you're gonna be disappointed. The main change with this focus on open world is the way that the Grand Prix are set up. A normal Grand Prix in the past is that you do 3 laps around the first track, break, 3 laps around the second track, break, 3 laps around the third track, break, and 3 laps around the last track. And maybe on some tracks there's no laps, it's just one continuous track with 3 segments, but that's how it was typically. Mario Kart World breaks that formula. If we take the Mushroom Cup, for example, the first is Mario Bros. Circuit, then Crown City, then Whistle Top Summit, then finally DK Spaceport. And you could even see the pathing that I show on the map. The first track is like the typical Mario Kart, you just do 3 laps around Mario Bros. Circuit, but for the second track, you don't start at Crown City. You start at Mario Bros. Circuit and travel to Crown City. The Crown City track in this cup is broken into 3 segments, not laps. There are 3 segments in total. You start at Mario Bros. Circuit, then you spend 2 segments traveling to Crown City, then that last segment is a lap around the actual Crown City track, and that's it for the Crown City track. Same concept for the third track. You start at Crown City, you spend 2 segments traveling to Whistle Top Summit, then the final segment is a lap around the destination. And that repeats at DK Sport, well, kind of, but DK Spaceport is more of an exception to the rule. Did I like this change? I think on paper it sounds cool and different enough that makes it different enough from other Mario Kart games, but still feel like a Mario Kart game. The problem is, it didn't really feel like a memorable experience. Aside from the first track of each cup, you only do each track for only 1 lap. So I never really felt close or have like any like feelings towards a particular track because I only did 1 lap. I remember things through repetition, right? And by going around a track 3 times, it drills it into my brain enough and be like, yes, this is Boo Cinema. But if I only go through Boo Cinema for one singular lap, it just feels like one of those transitionary segments. And on top of that, the actual tracks at each destination feels significantly smaller and shorter than the transitionary segments. And since you spend more time traveling to the destination than doing the destination itself, it just feels more like a road trip than an actual race at times. Small note, I do wish they make the arrival at the destination a bit more celebratory, if that makes sense. If you're not really paying attention, you can find yourself realizing that you've already arrived at the destination and not doing a transitionary section. Probably because of just how clean the transition is, which is a compliment. But I do wish there was like fireworks or a banner like UI that goes across your screen like, "Welcome to Ground City," or something like that, I don't know. Very minor, but it would be nice to have something like that. But other than that, I think the design layouts of the tracks are alright. I do wish they were longer and a bit more technical. The visuals of the tracks, and I guess the entire world really, is really, really good. It's a very beautiful looking game, and even like the more generic looking places still look very stunning. And I don't mean this like under like Switch standards or whatever. Obviously, it doesn't have like that magical feeling of being like really small in a huge world like Elden Ring or Expedition 33. But especially for like this Mario Kart entry being like a more grounded type feel, it's really good. And the one track at the very end breaks that like grounded stigma and looks really, really cool, and it looks really, really magical. When I played with my dad on that last track, I guess, he almost drove off the course a few times because he was just watching like the spectacle of the environment. It was really funny. And even the music is really, really good. It's very relaxing, very catchy, and it features a lot of soundtracks. It even samples songs from Mario games throughout the entire Mario franchise, which I believe is the first in the series. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But there are a few like remixed Mario Galaxy soundtracks that could potentially play, I believe, in like areas in between the actual destinations. I think the OST for this game is really up there. Maybe like a 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. However, there is no in-game volume slider. I really wanted to lower the sound effects because I really wanted to hear the soundtracks, but there are no audio sliders anywhere in the settings. And it's really, really annoying because the soundtrack is really good and I want to have it more prominent than the sound effects, but unfortunately, you can't do that. So hopefully they add something like that in a future update. And speaking about future updates, I do wish that they simplify some of the menus. The character selection screen does not need to have 10 pages of just costumes. Why do they treat each skin as its own separate entity or whatever? Why not just show the base character? You select the character, then you pick the outfit you want for that character to have, instead of just having pages of just stuff for the sake of having pages to make it seem big. And speaking about making things seem big for the sake of making them big, races have 24 racers in a single race. And after playing a bunch of races, both single player and online, it's way too much. Online was just a disaster. There's like a bullet bill, fat mushroom, rainbow star happening every 5 seconds. I've never seen myself before go from 3rd place to 20th, back to 3rd, then to 15th, up to 10th, down to last, then end the race in 1st place before. Sure, you can call that like the Mario Kart experience, but it felt very, very reliant on RNG in the items than actual racing the course itself. In single player, unless you really, really suck, you'll never interact with players below 12th place. And if you do, you'll just get an item to just zoom back to top 4 before you know it. So essentially, half the lobby doesn't really exist. And it really, I think overall 24 player races have just a net negative to my overall experience. In single player, the extra players may not as well not exist. And in online, they inflate the amount of just random stuff happening while racing. But the new mode Knockout Tour really made good use of the 24 player count. New to the series, Knockout Tour utilizes the Mario Kart World open world to make these super long paths, essentially, with 6 segments in total. And at the end of every segment, if you're a part of like the bottom 4 finishers, you are eliminated from the race. The entire race is continuous, so once you meet like the racer threshold, you just keep going until you get eliminated. So the race will start with 24 racers, then at the end of each segment kicks like the bottom 4, and he keeps doing that until there are only 4 racers left in the final segment, and the winner is crowned to the first person who crosses that finish line. It gets pretty chaotic at the beginning of the race, naturally, because there are so many people and it just becomes like an item throwing fest. But as the race progresses and more racers get eliminated, it turns from being like hoping to get like good item RNG and item management to actually skillfully navigating around the track, and I really liked it when it got more skillful. I do think the bots in single player can get a bit unfair, as it seems like there's like some crazy like rubber banding happening, but at least for online play, this is my preferred way of playing rather than the traditional way. But overall, I think Mario Kart World is a decent entry. I think on paper the new features that they added are pretty interesting. The execution may not have landed in the way that I hoped it would, but it is still enjoyable to play, especially with friends, because at the end of the day, it is just a party game. It may lack an actual real content, such as like a purpose to keep playing after beating all the cups. The free roam feature is a cool feature, definitely not a mode that everyone's going to interact with constantly, as it's mainly meant for people that just want to do stuff for the sake of doing stuff. But the open world concept is pretty good, the music is very good, definitely top tier, the visuals are really good, it's the best it's ever been. Yes, they added like drift hops, grind rails, and wall runs, but in terms of actual racing gameplay, such as like the course layout designs, I think in this entry, it has been a bit lackluster. The transition segments can feel very straight-liney. It may have like a turn here or there, but generally if you take a glance at the course map, you're just driving in a straight line, really. And with most tracks at the actual destination, I feel like they were a bit shorter than I liked, not as complex as I hoped them to be as well. No 200cc at launch, no independent volume sliders for soundtracks and sound effects, a bunch of things in the game where they added more just for the sake of having more. I mean, these can be solved with future DLCs, and I really hope that there will be something new, something changed before the holidays, since this is a party game. And I think if you get the Switch bundle that makes this game $50, I think it's very worth it. Even with all its flaws, I still think it's actually pretty decent game, and that will hopefully get better when they add more stuff into it in the future. But for $80, yeah, this is pretty crazy. I bought this game for $80, and I felt a bit disappointed after beating the game. So if you think about buying this game, don't be like me. Just buy the bundle. Just buy the bundle. That'll do it for me for today. Make sure to like and subscribe, as my goal is to get to 500 subs by the end of the month. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I appreciate you guys for watching.